Hi, Sister Unity here with a parable for you. Once upon a time, there was a crabapple, and the crabapple was mean and cantankerous and a misanthropic, hated the world. And a young man picked the crabapple one day and ate the crabapple, and where the young man had been in very good health, the crabapple gave him blisters on the inside of his mouth, gave him canker sores. And then on the way down in the esophagus, the crabapple would stop and make him sort of choke and thump his chest and have to drink water to push the crabapple down. Eventually, crabapple made to the stomach, where the crabapple sort of bite and chewed at the stomach wall, trying to create ulcers. The young man had to take Pepto-Bismol and Tums. And then the crabapple passed into the colon and started to change form, but the crabapple still kept its personality and made cramping in the colon. And finally, when the crabapple in the intestines, and when the crabapple finally got to the colon, the crabapple refused to leave. He refused to be defecated out of the body and become part of the natural cycle again. I mean, its seeds were in place. They're covered in a tough coating that's meant to go through animals' digestive systems, and with the defecation materials, the fecal materials, to be part of the earth and regrow a new apple tree. But no, this mean old cantankerous, trouble-causing crabapple said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I found a human body. I'm going to enjoy the human body as much as the human does. I want to. I'm staying. So the crabapple wouldn't leave, and the young man became quite crampy and gassy and ill. The crabapple was not good for the overall health of the young man. And the young man started to change as well, because he was in pain. He started to get cranky, and because everything was backed up, he started to get foggy-headed. And he would make mistakes at work, and he would snap at people where he hadn't before. And his friends got together, and his friend said, look, something is going on with our friend. He is not right. And so they took their friend to the doctor, and the friend resisted the entire way. He refused to see the doctor. He didn't trust the doctor. He said, the doctor's a quack. The doctor's going to use medicine that has preservatives in it that will cause autism in me, or all sorts of wild theories about the doctor. But the friends insisted and dragged him to the doctor. They used all of the social pressure they could, and they tricked him into the car. And every technique, every bag of tricks was opened, and everything that they could find to get their friend to the doctor was used. The friend got to the doctor, and the doctor did a sonogram. And he did the sonogram over the abdomen and over the back, over the colon. Yes, if you're interested, he sonogrammed the butt cheeks. Ha ha. And the doctor said, there is a crabapple stuck in the colon that will not leave. And it seems to be that the crabapple's nasty disposition, because sonogram does pick up personality, is what's causing all of the troubles in your friend. It has changed your friend for the worse. So they said, well, what do we do? And the doctor said, well, you have some choices. You can use a laxative. You can use a suppository. You can use a speculum and a spoon. But do whatever you can to get that crabapple out. Or live with your friend being a jerk, a cranky sourpuss, and in ruined health. Like, he won't last very long with this kind of health. He'll fall apart. So the friends gathered their cranky, crab-appled friend, and they took him home, and they discussed it amongst themselves. And first they tried the laxative. They said, this will do it for us. Easy as pie, this will do it for us. And they made the young man drink the laxative. But the crabapple merely stepped out of the way, and the laxative passed right through. The crabapple let some cauliflower from the night before and a samosa from an Indian restaurant that had been had a couple days ago. They took the laxative, and he let them get excreted out, while he kept himself safe in his little private pocket of the colon. So the friends tried a suppository. They put a pill up the patootie. And the pill was supposed to make things gather water, draw water into the colon, and make things come out. And again, the crabapple reached up to the stomach and pulled down the last thing that the guy had eaten, and he used that as like a cushion against between him and the suppository, and the suppository made the water come, and it made all that go out. But the crabapple just held on to some cilia in the small intestine, and the little hairs that absorb the nutrients, and just held on to them and wouldn't go. So finally the friends said, "Look, we tried to get the laxative to do it for us, and that didn't work. We tried to get the suppository to do it for us, and that didn't work. We're going to have to do this ourselves. It's up to all of us." So one friend held the friend around his torso and cradled him, and the other friend held his legs in place so he wouldn't kick while they went in. And another friend worked the speculum and made sure, with another friend, made sure to put some very gentle silicone lubricant on it. They may have used coconut oil, which is very gentle. And then the last friend took a long-handled teaspoon, and they used the speculum to open their friend's sphincter, and they used a teaspoon, and they went in, and they took a while, so they went in, and each of them in turn, they fished around for the crabapple. And every time that they would get near the crabapple with a spoon, the crabapple would push the spoon away. Until two friends said, "Here's what we do. Everyone keep doing what you're doing, and Jean-Claude and I are going to go in, and we're going to do French service, because we both worked at the country club, and we know how to do French service with 2 spoons. And so with 2 spoons, they went in, one with each spoon, and they did French service to clamp onto the crabapple. There was nothing the crabapple could do. And they pulled the crabapple out. And with the friends' help, the young man regained his health and his personality and his cheerful disposition. And you may ask, what happened to the crabapple? Well, and most crabapples would meet the fate of being tossed into the dung heap or the compost heap, and then their seeds would grow a new tree. But these friends knew better. It was not a varietal worthy of preservation. And so they put the crabapple into the fireplace, and they roasted it until even the seeds were carbon. Because that's what you have to do with things that ruin young men and people's lives. You have to put them somewhere where they won't hurt other people. If they're really that recalcitrant, that's what you do with your evil crabapples. And the moral of the story is not to not eat crabapples, honey. My grandmother made crabapple jelly in Maine in the 60s and 70s. It's divine. Well, the moral of the story is, when you get one of those evil crabapples in someone's colon, all of you have to remove it together. You can't leave it up to a suppository or a laxative or them. You have to be a team working in concert to pull that crabapple out and dispose of it properly. That's what our country's built on. Teamwork. We're a union of states, and united we stand, and divided we fall, and apathetic we fall, and leaving it up to other people we fall. Get involved in protecting your colon from evil crabapples.